Okay, today we're going to be talking about some of the concepts in Module 4, the normal distribution, and I just wanted to work through some problems with you to help you understand how to calculate z-scores, how to find the percentages and proportions we might be asking you to find using the z-table. So we're going to use just a simple little example that let's say there's something called the Life Health Survey, and it's normally distributed. It has a mean of 120 and a standard deviation of 10. Okay. Now, one of our questions is, well, what percentage of people have a life health score of 135 or above? Now, first step, whenever working one of these problems about the normal distribution, the first thing you should do is to draw out your distribution. Doesn't have to be perfect. We just know that it looks somewhat symmetrical. We know that the center point, and just pretend that's directly in the middle, the center point is where mu of 120 falls. It also happens to be a z-score of 0. Okay? So in this one, if 120 is here, we want to find how many people score 135 or above. Well, we know that 135 is going to be on this end of this distribution, so we're just going to draw in a point. It doesn't really even matter necessarily where it's at. We're going to say that that is 135, and we know that we want to find the area, the proportion or percentage that falls above a score of 135. So we're going to be looking for something that tells us what proportion of people fall here. All right, now we have to calculate our z-score. So we remember our formula, z equals x minus mu divided by sigma. So pretty simple, just plug in our numbers, 135 minus 120 divided by 10. And from there, we're going to get 15 divided by 10, and from there we get 1.50. Now, one important thing about this 1.50, we know that we're above the mean. We're looking for an area above the mean. We know that positive z-scores are above the mean, above the z-score of 0, and we know that negative numbers, negative z-scores, are going to be below this. So this, it came out to be a positive number. We can put the plus in there to remind ourselves that it really is a positive number. All right, then we're going to go to our z-table, and I've got a copy of it here to try to show you. We're going to want this page in which we're looking for a z of 1.50. It's a little bit hard to see on the video, I know, but pull out your z-table and you can look for it. Now we know that we want this proportion, and if you look at the table itself, what we have are a number of different columns that give us different proportions. One says mean to z. That's not the column we want, because that would be this area. One says a larger portion of the distribution. Well, that's not what we want, because it would be all of this, or the smaller portion. And look at our whole distribution. We're looking for something that is the smaller portion. So we're going to look at 1.5. We're going to look under that column, and our number is 0.0668. Okay. The proportion is 0.0668. That's what we call the proportion. The table is filled with proportions. The question asks you for the percentage of people that have a life health score of 135 or above. To change that to a percentage, all we have to do is move our decimal place 2 places to the right, so that equals 6.68%. Remember, when you're answering your questions, exactly what did it ask you? Did it ask you for a percentage? Did it ask you for a proportion? We're also going to be asked later on about percentiles. You need to put your answer in the way that the question has asked it. Okay? Let's go down and we're going to do this other problem just kind of for fun. What percentage have a LH score of 135 or below. So again, we can easily draw out our distribution. Again, not worried about it being perfect. This is 120, corresponds to z of 0. Here we're looking for, okay, so that's 135. We're looking for this entire area. Guess what column we're going to look under? It's going to be the same z-score that we're looking for. It's still going to calculate out to 1.50. But when we look in our table for 1.50, we're actually looking for the larger portion. So the number that we want here is 0.9332. Remember, see, we're looking for the larger portion of that distribution, so that's what we're going to go with. We need to convert it to a percentage, so it's 93.32%. Now, let's think of something really, really simple here. This distribution encompasses 100% of scores. Yeah? Hopefully you get that. We just looked up the value for above 135. We just looked up for the proportion or percent below 135. Guess what would happen if we added those two things together? 0.0668 and 0.9332. Oh, guess what we're going to come up with? 1.00, or 100%. Kind of tricky, huh? Okay, we're going to go on with a couple of others. I'm going to stop here and we'll go to another video.